So me as a, let's say, more an emotional kind of woman as well, I always try to communicate a way that is engaging to others and makes them be on my side, which is definitely helpful and powerful. However, what I needed to learn or could learn through the working with men is really also being more radical.
This is Alina, and I'm here super excited at another interview at Women Who Market. And today I'm interviewing a fairly new friend, and we have a very interesting story on how we met. But ever since we met, we had a really good connection, and I'm very happy to have here Fela Kumpuke. Fela, welcome.
Hi, Alina. Great to be here.
Thank you for being here. So Fela is from Germany, and we met virtually through a friend of a friend, just was through connections. We followed up, we ended up meeting once, and then she was telling me that she was moving to Florida, and I'm like, oh my God, I lived in Florida. And then one thing after the other, she ended up moving, and I went to visit Tampa at the beginning of the year, and then that's where we met in person. So it was very interesting on how a friend of a friend of a friend connected us, and then here we are after a few months.
Yes, indeed.
Awesome. Okay, so Philip, the idea with the interview is just for me to share a little bit of time with you and get to know you a little bit better. And I'm just going to ask you different questions and just see what you can share with us. So I'm super excited about it. So are you ready to get started?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so the first section, it's called the resume. And the idea is just more for us to learn a little bit about what's your profession now, what type of field you're in. And also, I would like to know how you ended up there. And the reason why I like to know that is because a lot of the people that come to Women Who Market, perhaps they are thinking about changing roles or careers or starting something new. And it's always really nice to hear how people perhaps had an idea to do something back then, and then all of a sudden they found a path. So can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing and how you ended up here?
Yeah, totally. So I'm a marketer. I've been working in marketing, I think in total, something between 5 and 6 years, with a small detour at some point that we're going to talk about later, I guess. And yeah, I'm right now working in the Americas team of AnyDesk. I'm leading a small team here, and yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
That's awesome. And how you ended up in marketing?
Interestingly, I did not start in marketing straight away. So in general, I always loved being creative and having, coming up with ideas, putting them into life. So I think that's like what it's all about for me as a person. However, I started studying in my bachelor's degree international business. So for me, it was really about general economic, situations, how to let's say, improve the economic situation of companies, and at the same time having the international relation to it. So my studies were in German, English, and French in my bachelor's degree, and it was really generalistic business management. And then in Germany, at least, I don't know if it's similar in the US, to be really honest, you get kind of a little bit pressured into choosing a very specific topic that you want to specialize in. So me personally, I really love the generalistic approach to business and mixing them with intercultural relations and all of that. But I felt like I had to do that in order to get a job. So back then, to be really, really honest, I knew what I liked. I liked the creative part and all of that. And at the same time, my brother was studying brand and communication. So I was talking with him, and, we were figuring out what my passion is or what I could do. And in the end, it all came down to him telling me what he's currently doing. And I was like getting excited hearing about that. So I was like, oh my God, this could be it. So, but I didn't want to lose the international side to things. Which why I then chose to study my master's in Nuremberg doing international marketing, so that I kind of had both.
Oh, that is amazing. International marketing. That is so cool. I didn't know about that, even that existed, but I'm
Yes.
sure that it makes total sense, because, and especially now in this world that everything is connected, everything is global. What marketing needs in the US is different than Europe, yet there are some common ground. So I'm sure that it was very interesting to learn about that.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And yes, by the way, Fela, she speaks 3 languages, so English, German, and French, and she also speaks a little bit of Spanish. So she's just great. Well, thank you for sharing about how you ended up in the marketing field. And that kind of relates to the second section. I call it Adam and Eve. The reason is because I kind of want to go back to like the beginning where everything was created, and the importance of men and women in our lives. Of course, and here Women Who Market, we're supporting the professional development of women. We want people to either get education or start their business or go to college or grow in their companies, whatever it is. And we want to support women, but we also want to learn and highlight the amazing men that are out there helping us grow and potentially working better together just to make life better for all, right? So that's the purpose of the section. So here I have a question that it goes for the men in your life and also for the women in your life, and it's more about what they have learned. What have you learned from them?
Well, I think that's a really good question, because in my personal opinion, that's exactly how, how you should live your life. You meet new people every day, and you build some relationships that are deeper with the ones and less deep with the others. But in any case, you perceive all that they're saying, they're doing, how they're acting, how they're moving. And for me, it's really important to, to closely observe people, to be able to, take a step back, not always being the one in the spotlight, being the one, like talking and doing the stuff, but also, having both sides of that and being able to do it, yes, but also being able to observe other people, observe how they behave, and see either, how that relates to your work life, for example, because you need to interact with them, work together, they're your boss or your manager, but they can also be your colleagues or your direct reports. And at the same time, really becoming, the older you get, I think it's easier to be really clear about what do you want to adapt from it, what do you adore and want to replicate yourself in your own kind of way, and what are things that you personally do not agree with or that don't get along with your personality and who you want to be. And then, trying to find ways, perhaps, to achieve the same objective, but using different tactics.
Definitely, definitely. So through all your career and all the people that you've met, have you learned like a specific way to improve communications? Or to give you an example, I worked for a Danish company for 5 years. Well, I've been working in the tech industry since 2015. And obviously the tech industry is more, there are more men than women. And one thing that I've learned from men is the simplicity on how they communicate, how they just, like me as a woman, like I will go to like a meeting and I will think, oh my God, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that. And then just hearing and learning from men how they present, they're just like point A and that's it. They don't even think too much about it. I've learned from that to kind of take more a simplistic way of thinking, and also a more simplistic way to presenting information. So that's something that I've learned from men, for example. So do you have like any specifics that, oh, I had this person that I learned something, and if not, it's okay?
No, totally, totally. Funnily enough, for me, it's pretty much the same. I've always worked in B2B marketing and more in the tech-related field. So I also know working, with many men specifically. Oftentimes, marketing departments are still pretty much female, but the whole company as a whole, the meetings that you go to very often are there are a lot of men in the room, right? So what did I learn specifically? I mean, I definitely learned a lot. If I compare what I learned from women and from men, in the difference, I think what I learned way more from men is having the entrepreneurial mindset. No matter if they are the CEO themselves, of course, then they're direct entrepreneurs. You can learn a lot from them. But even the men that are, successful within companies, I think they have a very much entrepreneurial spirit. And with that comes a sense of radicality. Me as a, let's say, more an emotional kind of woman as well, I always try to communicate a way that is engaging to others and makes them be on my side, which is definitely helpful and powerful. However, what I needed to learn or could learn through the working with men is really also being more radical, because in the end, it's about business, and it should be okay, for example, to propose ideas or creative concepts or whatever it is that are radical, because in the end, the market, most of the markets are mature in any ways. You need to be disruptive in some ways. And for me personally, I think there's no way to be disruptive without being radical.
I love it. So being more assertive, like if you have an idea and you truly believed in it, despite trying to please everybody, it's being more like, hey, we're gonna try this, and just be assertive with it.
Exactly. And for me, it doesn't mean, to put others down or something in that way, right? I mean, assertive can be interpreted in different ways, but it's even just about, sharing a radical idea with others, being like, okay, I completely get, we're talking about how we can get here, but is this actually where we want to go? That can be a very radical question in a meeting, for example, and that can shake everything up, and really not being afraid of, shaking a little bit on the existing framework and organizational structure that has been created, because I think, you constantly need this kind of nudging and positive criticism to be sure that you stay on the right track and you don't follow, a dream that might be obsolete already in a few years, for example.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And as you were speaking, it actually reminded me of something that I learned, and I wish that I would have learned it at the beginning of my career, but I've learned it like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, not too long ago. And it's the fact of asking why, or asking questions once you're given a project. Like my boss will just say, hey, Alina, we need to do X, Y, and Z. Sure, and I will just do it. And then after the fact, then I started to like, maybe the positioning wasn't there, or the product wasn't ready, or like a whole bunch of things. And I'm like, but why are we doing this? And like slowly but surely, I started to gain the confidence to start asking questions like, hey, we need to do this. Oh, fantastic. Tell me more. And why we're doing this. And could I talk with someone else? And then my boss was a little bit taken at the beginning, because then instead of like the note taker, and I was like asking him questions, but it makes the relationship better, and it also makes the outcome of whatever you're working on better. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, and if I can just add to that, I think the smallest version of you were describing is literally the relationship between marketing and sales departments. So oftentimes you'll have a sales account manager or something come out being like, I need this. And as you said in the beginning, when you're young, you're like, okay, I will do everything I can to make this happen. And after some time, perhaps you find out they didn't use it. So you like, okay, next time I'm going to ask, why do you need this? Because perhaps there's already something here or something similar, or perhaps there's an easier way to achieve your objective that you don't know about because you don't work in marketing. That's perfectly fine, but really being like an equal counterpart, helping them reach their goal, but with the best solution, let's say, from marketing side in this regard.
Absolutely. And now that we're a little bit technical, I think it's a perfect segue for the next section, which is called the dictionary. So I hope that you know all your definitions from all your studies, because I'm going to test you.
Oh my God.
No, I'm kidding. It's a little bit different. I believe that regardless of what we do in life, regardless of the goals, the visions, the family, the friends, I think ultimately, at least for women, I think we ultimately, in general, are looking for like 3 type of things. And for me, I believe those things are health, being healthy, being wealthy, wealth,
Mhm.
prosperity, and love, right? But those things, although they're general, they don't necessarily have to mean the same for everybody. My definition of those things could be very different to yours. So I'm just curious to know your definitions to these 3 important concepts.
All right. Well, yes. So health for me has a specific important place, I would say, because I also had already experienced some difficult illnesses, let's say, right? I mean, I'm all good now and everything, but I think it shapes you very much how you see life and health and all of that. I think there's this quote, I don't know who said that, where they say, I think it's something like, a healthy man has many wishes, a sick man only one. So, and I think that's really important also to keep in mind, when stress comes up and everything. So for me personally, health means really waking up every day, being energized, and, just feeling happy about the day to come, really, and of course this associates no pain, just not having to think about it means you're in perfect health.
I like that.
Yeah. And then for the wealth part, I was thinking about it. So I think it really much depends on how you grow up. I personally grew up in a household where we always had and everything we needed, but we were living on really small feet. Can you say that? So my parents did not have amazing jobs. We never did amazing vacations, never went skiing or the like, because it was too expensive. However, I didn't feel it because I felt like I have everything I need when I was a child. So for me personally, wealth is kind of the feeling going for dinner, or even just going to the supermarket and purchasing the stuff that I want without taking a look at the price tag. That for me is like, some kind of financial freedom, just not having to check. Of course, I don't go to the 5 stars plus restaurant, so it's kind of within a certain realm, but just being there and being free and being like, oh, I want to eat that, so I just order it, I don't mind. That for me is like, is wealth.
Absolutely. I think it's more of I don't think it's maybe the capacity, the number that you have in your wallet to achieve something. Is more of the feeling of, I'm going somewhere and I'm just cool and relaxed with whatever I encounter there. And that feeling of feeling good, it's priceless, basically.
Yes, exactly. And not feeling constraints all the time, basically. Yeah, so that is for me my personal definition of wealth. And then your last question was about the love part, right? And that is a tricky one. Because love's all around us. I'm kind of an emotional person, so I like, I need to hold back telling everybody I love them. So, but I do need to say, I reflected a lot about a lot of different topics because of my personal development, thrive, let's say. And I think for me, really, the love comes all down to the unconditional love. And I'm very, very grateful that I have had a parents, specifically a mom, that was showing me that from early on. So really giving the love without expecting anything in return, anything. So I just do have one example for that, because it just, for me myself, it has shown that really clearly what that means. And it was last year, I was already here once in Florida, and on the plane I got COVID. So I was here all alone on a business trip, but I stayed literally 2 weeks in a hotel because I had a fever. I was feeling completely sick. I couldn't go out. I could not do nothing. I couldn't even go to work. So it was like a complete disaster. And during those times, especially during the weekends and all, my mom, she was on the phone with me for hours just to support me and like being there. And then afterwards, when I felt better and my husband joined me and we went on vacation, after 2 days, I was like, oh my God, I didn't call her back again. Like I literally was so dependent on her when I was sick. And now that everything's fine again, I didn't write her. And I was like, I was like apologizing to her. She's like, no, that's totally fine. You know, that's how it's supposed to be.
Oh, that is so sweet. I think I'm gonna get emotional too. And honestly, I think that's the perfect example of unconditional love.
Mm.
And even with friendships, for example, because, for example, one person could say, oh, but because it's your mother, so it's expected for her to be there when you need her, and then to be cool when you don't need her. But actually, that's not the case. So that's so amazing for your mom. And then when it comes to I call them true friendships, and are those friendships that do give you that unconditional love, that whenever you are not that busy, whenever you have the chance to do that weekend getaway, you meet your friends, and it's like if time hadn't happened, like you're just there and it's amazing. And then sometimes months goes by, and when you see the person again, there is no judgment, there is not like, oh, but you didn't reply my text or nothing. It's just, so happy to see you, let's have fun. And I'm so glad that you brought that up, because that also unconditional love from friends, or from coworkers, it's also very meaningful. So that's awesome that you have that you count with that.
Yes.
And thanks for sharing too. All right, well, speaking about sharing, we are going to introduce the next section, which is called the gift. So as the gift for me is, the meaning of that is to have something so meaningful and so nice that that when you give it, it actually creates like more power. So one of the things that I truly advocate here at Women Who Market is for all of us to try to find our gift if we haven't found it, or if we do have the gift, try to give it to the world. So for me, a gift, it's more of a role, a talent, something that we're good at. And I truly believe that we all were born with something that we're good at. Some people may say, oh my God, I'm horrible at everything. And I don't think that's the case. Yes, for some people, it's easier that maybe they were born and they immediately knew that they wanted to be a soccer player or a singer or a policeman, who knows? But for other people, like me, it took me like many years trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And not only that, also trying to find out what is that gift, what is that thing that I'm good at, that gives me energy and that I can give to the world. I'm thinking that I'm very close to finding it, or perhaps I found it. I think like the gift for me of maybe of connecting with people and making them feel understood. I think that's kind of where my gift is. So all that explanation to ask you if you feel like you have found your gift yet.
That is so funny, you know, like the person who was connecting us was just a genius, because it's exactly what I was about to say. I really feel I've been in a lot of, you know, job interviews, interviewing a lot of people because I was working in a scale-up environment, and I felt there's a difference between different kinds of people and how they interview and all of that. And I was, you know, I'm just like a natural reflector, so like when I drive in my car, I think about what has happened and, you know, try to make sense of all of it that's going on. And I thought the same thing. I was like, I think not everybody is as open-minded and, let's say, truly likes humans. It might be because of past experience or whatever, but I feel like I just you know, I just really like the human beings and understanding where do you come from, you know, why are you the way you are? It could be positive or negative, you know, like really getting this wholesome picture of somebody, and you know, and then just, you know, respecting and acknowledging them for who they are. And I think people do feel that, which is why in the end it would come also down to connecting with people. But I guess it's because of all that, you know, behind. It's like the no judgmental way of just being truly interested in them and their story and what they have done and why, and, you know, how they feel.
I think that is great too. I'm just writing down here things that you mentioned, like being a natural reflector, liking humans, and like being truly interested in respecting them the way they are. They may sound simple, but they are like extremely hard, extremely hard. Like the reflection, for example. Not all of us take time to sit down and reflect what happened, or not everybody takes the time or willing to understand what's happening with that person that didn't say hello, or it's always upset, or it's always happy. So the fact that you like want to spend time doing those things, it's very amazing, and to the point of being the gift. I don't know if it happens to you, but like whenever you do connect with a person, you're giving your time. So one would say, oh, you're giving something out, but actually it's so weird, because even if you're giving, you're actually kind of gaining more energy.
Yes.
Happens
And
to
I
you?
think that's probably the definition of a gift, right? And if you do something, you gain energy from it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do more.
Awesome. Well, in this moment, you got in the mail a little envelope that I would like for you to open, just to be extremely direct with the name of the section, the gift. So I just wanted to send you a little gift.
Well, thank you. So I was so curious to find that in my mail, because it's literally the first like mail that I got that was not a publicity or an invoice. Okay, I'm gonna open that. Oh wow, it's wrapped up. Okay, it's really neat. Oh wow, what is that?
So it's a gratitude journal.
Wow, that's amazing.
My mom painted it. So I know that you speak a little bit of Spanish, so that's why the legend is in Spanish. But I've been practicing writing what I'm thankful for every day since like 2011, actually.
Wow.
So that's just an invitation to like the ideas that you have in your mind to also put it in writing, because I also believe that when you put things in writing, kind of gives you even more clarity.
It does. Thank you so much. This is an amazing gift. Thanks a lot.
You are very welcome. Okay, so we're actually getting towards the last section of the interview, and it's called Luck or Destiny. We talked about very deep topics, very important. So now we just want to like relax and show the relaxed side, which, by the way, I didn't mention at the beginning, but Fela, it's also a yogi. So she loves yoga. She also loves personal development. So has many cool hobbies that she likes to do. So here in this section that is called Luck or Destiny, I just want to see what extra you want the world or destiny or luck wants us to share with everybody watching the interview. So I'm going to, can you see the game?
I can see the screen, yes. Luck or Destiny.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So, okay. So you see here different moods. So what mood do you choose today?
I would choose mood B, the sunflower.
The sunflower. Okay, so let's see what question is that. What book do you recommend?
All right. Oh, I do recommend many books. I love books. But what I really what I thought was an amazing book in all the senses is the 12 Rules of Life from Jordan Peterson. And especially I connected so much with the subtitle. It's like 12 Rules for Life. And the subtitle is like an antidote to chaos. And I was like, oh my God, I need to read that book.
And what's the author?
Jordan B. Peterson. I know he's a little bit, sometimes, how to say, critically seen, but I think he knows a lot and there's a lot we can all learn from him.
Awesome. Well, now I'm going to add it to my list of books to read. Thank you for that one. All right, Fela. Well, this concludes our interview. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing so many amazing things with us. I'm very happy that our friends of friends connected us, and I just look forward to continuing staying in touch with you and seeing where your life takes you.
Thank you so much, Alina, and good luck with your amazing, initiatives.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.